Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Women Are Worthy show, and we're on the Women Are Worthy Network on YouTube. Today is Motivating MBA Monday. I created that one, y'all. Created it myself. Well, today we have a phenomenal woman. Okay, so I want everyone to meet Dr. Alison Keefe. That's right. I said Dr. Alison Keefe. She is the Interim Associate Dean for Graduate Programs and the Executive. Wait, I gotta sip some water because she has so many titles, okay? Let me start over. She is the Interim Associate Dean for Graduate Programs and the Executive MBA Executive Director for Kennesaw State University's Coles College for Business. Dr. Keefe received her PH.D. in 2002 from Auburn University. Sorry, didn't mean to say, sorry. Now, so we're here because we're constantly getting emails. We have so many professionals out there that they're talking about, should they get the MBA or should they not? So today, what better place to have this conversation with the Women Are Worthy show with a phenomenal woman who knows it all and who's going to help us, because we have a couple of questions, so we want to talk about that. Now, let me get general housekeeping out of the way. If you want to join our tribe, you must subscribe to our YouTube channel, the Women Are Worthy Network. Come on, I dare you. Just go ahead. You're going to have fun. You're going to be educated. We're going to have some great talks today. So, ladies and gents, let's start the conversation. So, what I want to start off with, Dr. Keefe, what are the 5 benefits of obtaining and getting your MBA?
Well, that's a great question. First and foremost, what I would say, number one on the list is, of course, knowledge. That's the greatest benefit you can get. But there's so many other things that people don't consider when thinking about going back for their MBA. The second one is friendships, yes, but networking. The networking groups that you will find in that in your program. That's one of the greatest benefits that you can receive. Third and foremost, the ability to move up in your career if you use your MBA wisely. And that's one piece that a lot of people don't recognize, is not using that MBA wisely. Number 4, that's a great question. I'm not sure I have a number 4 or number 5. It might come to me.
Well, we have other questions, so we can talk about this. What made you decide to go and get your MBA?
That is a question. It actually had to do with a mentor, and I know that's a passion of yours, which is a passion of mine as well. I had a gentleman back when I was an undergrad that I met, and he really did inspire me to think beyond an undergraduate education. And that idea of lifelong learning, and that could be your number 4 for that matter, that idea of lifelong learning, and that you really need to go and pursue something different than you ever thought you could do. And he had faith in me, and he saw something in me that probably I didn't myself. And that's what inspired me to go back and continue my education.
You're very impressive, not just on paper, but just talking to and having conversations with you. You're the epitome of a worthy woman. Okay. You are the epitome. Look, I believe in giving women their roses while they're here to get it. So I just want you to know that there are people that appreciate you and look up to you, and you're one of mine. Okay. Because okay. I hope you can call the police and call off the police, because whenever you feel like you're being watched, that was me. Okay. I was stalking you. Okay. So, question, how does one set themselves up for success post MBA, postgraduate?
It needs to start at the beginning of your master's. That's how you start yourself with success and end up with it. There's several ways to do that. One is that networking piece I talked about.
Okay.
So a lot of students will get into their master's program and they will keep their heads down, as I like to say. Whether it male or female, they'll keep their heads down. They'll study hard. That's all that they're worried about. they don't recognize that the studying piece is only one part of the MBA experience. I always tell my students, take your head out of the books, get to know your teammates, get to know your classmates, get to know as many people, including professors, as you can in the program, because you never know what those networking benefits might end up being at the end of the program.
And I'm sorry, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say the second piece is most, if not all, graduate students in their master's program already have a job. So they're out there working. The mistake a lot of them are making, again, not telling their organization or their business where they're working what they're doing. So a lot of people, they'll get their MBA and maybe at the end they'll have that diploma, and maybe then they'll say to their boss, oh, look what I got. Well, why not start at the beginning? I started this program. Look what I'm learning. Keeping people in your aware of what they're doing.
So so here's another question. I'm going to say this. So Cobb Chamber, forgive me, okay? Why will your MBA credentials earn you a seat at the table?
Well,
Sorry, Cobb.
the only at the table if you sit there. And I've heard that saying before, so that's not me. But, you're not going to be able to take a seat at the table unless you expose yourself for what you are. And that is somebody who's earning an MBA. You need to let people know what you're doing, let them know what value you're bringing to the organization, and make it, be loud and proud about it. Even if you don't have your MBA already, make sure that people around you that you work with know that is the first and foremost reason why you'd end up with a seat at the table. You know that old adage where it says it's never what you know, it's who you know.
Yes.
That's the benefit of an MBA, because if you're not exploring, who you know, then you're not using the MBA to its full advantage.
And see, I consider myself a master networker because I think I practically know everyone. And I think relationship building, yeah, you did. So one of the things I want to ask you is, knowing what you know now, if you could go back to your, let's say, when you were pursuing your MBA, what would you tell yourself?
I tell myself what I just told you. And the mistake that I made as well is, and it usually comes more from a woman's perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Women don't self-promote. And that's the piece that I missed. And it's a piece that I missed in a lot of my career since going back for my graduate education, is I did not self-promote myself. So people did not know what I was doing. And it took a while for people to recognize, who I was, how hard I worked. And that's the piece that I want to give everybody, not just women, but everybody getting their master's degree in business administration. Promote yourself. Let people know what you're doing.
I'm glad you talked about promoting, because as women, we're nurturers, and most women just won't promote, where men will promote. Hello, my name is,
yep.
And it's okay, because I think women believe that it's bragging, and it's not. This is something you're doing. So I'd like to ask you, Dr. Allison, what do you do for self-care? Because you're doing a lot. It's important to me because I talk to women about self-care. We have conversations about this. And one of the questions I hate asking women, and I'm starting to stop asking that, how do you balance your work life? We don't ask men those questions, but it's because we take care. And I caught myself. I would always ask women those questions, and I wouldn't ask men. Now when I'm interviewing men, I don't ask women, but I ask the men. How are you balancing your work life? Because 9 times out of 10, we're the ones taking care of the babies, taking care of the family while they're going out. So my question to you is, you live such a wonderful life. What do you do to balance it out? How do you balance? What do you do for self-care? Let me use that one. What do you do for self-care?
Well, my first way of self-care is I have to actually take a day off. And I know that that sounds simple and or very simplistic. That's the best way to describe it. But it's one that refreshes me, because if I didn't actively take a day off, then I would never have any days off. Because, yes, you're right. I work on the weekends a lot in the Executive MBA program. I also have a 14-year-old daughter who takes up a great deal of my time above and beyond my other roles. So if I don't actively find time for, what's known as a respite, then I don't get it. So that's my first advice for self-care. Find the time. A lot of women will say, I just don't have the time. That's you may have to wake up a little bit earlier. You may have to go to bed a little bit later, but you can find that time for that self-care. Find that day. Just get away, even if it's just sitting at home doing absolutely nothing. That's one way to do it. And my other one is exercise and going to the gym and releasing that energy. Now, the nice part about it is my daughter's 14, so now she comes with me instead of me trying to get out of the house without her. So, it now becomes a family affair, so to speak. But that's another one of mine. Just releasing all of that energy that is pent up, and then I can go to bed at night and sleep very soundly.
Well, I'm hoping to do that because this morning I said I'm going to be, I'm working on my whole thing, being plant-based, and which is what I am. And I said, you know what? I need to start exercising more. I went to the gym. I got to the gym at 5 o'clock because I'm a morning person. And I am still hyper. So I know when I go home and, get in the shower, I know I'm going to sleep like a baby because it feels so good. Because I still feel that adrenaline. I feel like I want to go back to the gym, but I don't want to overdo it. So that's what I'm doing. So I'm finding that this relieves stress because I do have a stressful situation because I take on other people's stress when we're talking about certain things. So now I'm finding a way of how to release it. So, Dr. Allison, what book are you currently reading?
Oh, well, that's strangely enough, personal or professional?
Both.
Oh, okay. So, personally, I am reading a book about. I don't know if you know anything about or the history of the Tennessee Children's Society and Georgia.
No.
Well, basically, she ran an orphanage back in the 20s, and
You froze.
their families in order to run this orphanage and basically sell the children as if they were adoption. Um, so with that, it's a book, and let me think of it real quick. Before We Were Yours, and it's kind of a little thriller, but it's also a history lesson, and I love the combination of the two. And then right now, professionally, I'm rereading by Maxwell.
What's the book? Because you're freezing. You're freezing.
I'm so sorry. I don't know why I'm freezing. The Tipping Point by Maxwell.
Okay, The Tipping Point by Maxwell. It's important because I have several mentors. So I have books that they assign me to read, leadership books and, things like that, and things what's going on in motivational books, inspiring books. And I love to read. That's just me. My favorite place on earth, and I've traveled, is the library. I go in and I get one of those rooms, and I can, when they give me the private rooms, I'll have 15 books on the table. It de-stresses me. Somehow it de-stresses me. I just feel like I'm in the Garden of Eden. I just love going to the library. And so it has caused me, I've been feeling panic attacks because I feel like the place I want to go, it was my refuge away from home, has been taken away from me. So anywhere near the water and the library has been my favorite place to go and read and things like that. So now we talked about books. Who do you look up to? Who inspires you? You can name two people, one woman and one man.
Great question. Well, I would have to say the man, and it's somebody nobody knows, but it was my first mentor. His name was Dr. Curtis Jolly. And he was a jolly, well, he is, I shouldn't say was, he is he's from Dominica, and he was the one that really gave me the inspiration back when I was going through my PhD program to really think beyond what I expected and to consider different perspectives. Actually, I think I froze again.
Yeah, you did. That's why can you go back where you were? Because wherever you were with that tree, that was really perfect.
Well, I think the tree's still there. I apologize. All I did was step forward a little bit.
Let's see what happens now. Let me remove you and put you back in. Hold on. Okay.
Okay.
You're still freezing, but okay. We can look. Let's keep talking because I'm just loving these jewels that you're dropping right now.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And I was talking about my mentor, Dr. Curtis Jolly, and he gave me the ability to see things from different perspectives. Because going through my PhD program, all the professors had the same way of doing things over and over again. He saw things different. And I recognized through him that I could look at the world differently and I could do things differently. So that got me prompted to kind of pay that forward and become a mentor myself. You know, if people want advice, that's what I always look at, different perspectives, look at different way of doing things. In terms of women, I have to really put a self plug in for all of the women leaders at KSU. I mean,
yes.
From my personal experience, Dr. Kat Schwag, she was the dean of the Coles College for Business for many, many years, while I was just the executive director. And then the next who has now moved into her shoes is Dr. Robin Jeremy. And to have a very strong women's leadership group in the Coles College of Business, and now higher level with Dr. Schwag as provost and now interim president for Kennesaw State University, it does a woman's heart good. It does my heart good to be able to see those women elevated to that next level.
I agree, because it feels good, because I think we sent out a request for the diversity inclusive person that's at KSU. We sent something out to her, and we were trying to interview the former president, but there's something about KSU that warms my heart. That warms my heart. And that school has grown, because we moved here in 94. That school has grown tremendously. The women, the school, that they're so, I'm just so proud to live in the Kennesaw Ackworth area. I really am. I mean, everyone took a chance on that school, and it's like hitting a home run out of the park.
I agree. And you know what? If you need help with getting Dr. Carrie Butler on your show, let me know.
Yeah, I need help. I'm letting you know. I need help. I'm letting you know now.
All right.
Why? And we were talking about women. I'm a firm believer in finding my tribe, supporting my tribe of women, because husbands come and go, or somehow they just don't understand, right? And they may still be there, but there isn't. And this is a woman who did not like women, who worked in male dominated fields. And now I can't believe I had this thing about women, because now I just love them. I just love my women. Why is it important that women support each other?
Oh, I can go on and on for those many different reasons. But number one, because for some reason we just don't as a whole. And, I have found in working with executive MBA students that it's the women who tend to struggle the most, not with the material. They're extremely smart, but it's with that work-life balance. And I can't tell you the multitude of women that have come to me maybe after the first semester or second semester and have said to me, I don't think I can handle everything that's going on. My kids miss me. My husband misses me. My job, is kind of falling by the wayside. And I'm putting so much energy into this program. And I have to say, stop, put a pause, and let me give you some tips on how to make that balance better. Put that play date on the calendar for your kids. put that date night on the calendar for your husband. Do the things for them, but at the same time, go home. I don't want you to read anything. I don't want you to work on any assignments. I want you to take a couple days and just concentrate on you. And you'd be surprised at when those women come to me and we talk about it. They're like, oh, I can do this, and then they end up graduating with honors.
See,
So
that's good. Oh my goodness.
it's bothersome to me that so many women think that they cannot do it, and that's what it's kind of become a personal crusade to me. Yes, there are men that come to me with the same problems, but there's so many women that come to me with those issues, and I want to make sure that they know that they can do it. And the other piece that I hadn't mentioned yet is so many women, for some reason, think that they've got this fraud syndrome, or they think that they're a fraud. And I'm here to tell them they're not. You may think you are, but I guarantee you, you know how many other people are thinking the same thing. You're just vocal about it. I can't do this. I wasn't meant to do it. And then they find out after a while, wait a second, I do have what it takes to make this work.
And it's okay not to be okay, and it's meaning you're going through a moment. I don't want people to think that okay, it's an all day thing. You're going through a moment. That's why it's important to create a balance and also have a support system. Because my girlfriend and I, we was just talking on social media before I logged on with you, and we were pouring our hearts out on what's going on in society. It's supposed to be girl power, women empowerment. But so many women still don't feel empowered. So we're working on something where we just put it out there where we want to be able to support women, whether it's we get a group of women, we create a tribe, and if someone lives in your city, okay, fine, we'll take the kids for a couple of days, or maybe not a couple of days. We'll take your kid for the day out to the zoo or something. And if this person's working on a company and they need additional funds, okay, so this is a thing where it's like a family. You share in funds, you share in resources, you share in time, talents, and all of that. That's what we're looking to do. We just have to figure out how to get this done, because I'm sick and tired of women who want so much, but because they don't have support, or when maybe it's a certain amount of money, they can't get to the next level. Let's share in our resources. Not just resources, but let's share professionally and personally. I want to be personally invested in you. If something's going on with you and your husband, you're separated, because Dr. Allison, what I find strange about this is most men, if they're having marital problems at work, at home, they don't bring it to the work to work, and they can work through. They can work no matter what. With women, it's a little different because we have the kids. We sometimes can't cope, and I want to be able to. How can we step up to the next level? I'm hearing all these things. I'm sick and tired of seeing women empowerment and these. Let's start being personally invested. That's what we're looking to do.
You're absolutely right. Is that person by other women there? And you made a very good. Remember, there's an old saying: "It takes a village," right? Well, you're absolutely right. It takes a village. It used to be that women, yes, they had to take care of the kids and the husband and the housework and everything. And no, there wasn't much of a job. But women have not spoken up to say, no, wait, I work now.
Mm-hmm.
There needs to be a 50-50 split, but I also need time for myself. And so let's find that village. I love your idea. You know, take the kids out, just even if it's for a couple hours. You'd be surprised at how relaxing that can be.
And of course, it would be a vetted place. Like we're going to take them to, let's say, Dave and Buster's. Don't worry about the money. This is what we're going to do. So we pull those resources. Those who can't give money, you give your time. And I think that's a true village, because I've been talking to a couple of girlfriends about this, and some just don't get it. But talking to my other girlfriend today, and she's like, Jackie, you know, we have to do something. And I'm like, oh God, another thing on my plate. But you know what? It takes you. Sometimes you just have to pull that extra out. So my question to you is, why should someone apply to Coles? To Coles, why should they apply? I mean, I know some of the answers, but I want someone's out there. They're making that decision for school. why should they apply to your program?
Well, first and foremost, your number. We're still a small enough school where you're a name. You get treated with the respect that you deserve by a master's program at that level. At least in our graduate programs, those professors are there to make sure that you're successful. We're invested in your success. As I said, you're not a number, you're a name, and we want to make sure every student that truly wants their degree is going to get it. So we're invested in your success. We're invested in making sure that you're adding value to your organization. We're invested in the fact that if you do well and you succeed, then it makes KSU look good. So,
Yes.
I mean, yes, there's a benefit to all of that, but we still care enough because we're still small enough.
It's funny because my interns that I have, and I'm trying to get more interns from KSU, but my interns that I have, they're telling me they want to go to the G school, and I'm like, oh no, you got to go to KSU. So I'm like,
how much of a benefit they get from going to KSU versus one of those unnamed other schools.
Right, exactly. And that's what I've been telling them. So I have several, of my interns that have gone there. So now, when I sit with, Miss Sharon Mason, the president of Cobb, Chamber, and I said, you know what, I'm going to now, because I get more students from other schools. I said, I'm going to, because we do a production, we're going to be doing a cooking show. We're going to be, administrative assistants we're looking for. So we're going to make that effort because I'm in handshake. But we have to get these students, because when they're in North Cobb High School or Kennesaw Mountain High School, I'm like, nope, the first school to look at and the only school to look at is KSU. I promise you, that's what I tell my interns. I try to move them away from the other schools. This is the school. It's small enough. It's really good. This is what you need to be doing. This school will cater to you if you have any issues. I mean, I know so much about the school. It's phenomenal. My mentor, RJ Patel, went to KSU. So I have a lot of mentors that, attended KSU. So that's what I'm doing. So I just want to get more. That's what we're working on now, trying to get more interns from KSU to be a part, because I'm promoting the school and I want the kids to see, what we do here and when we film and things like that.
Well, and it's a small piece about the advantages of KSU and even getting an MBA. It tends to be less expensive than the other big name schools. So they talk a lot about millennials and Generation Z looking for schools that are more affordable, something where they can get a degree where they don't come out of that school hundreds and hundreds of $1,000s in debt. That's the KSU advantage, because we are less expensive than the other schools. We're more affordable and the benefits are much greater.
And I want people to understand, yes, they're more affordable, but trust me and believe me that they're just as good as those other schools out there that I'm telling you, my opinion, better. Okay, my opinion, better. So I just want to go, you're going to say?
More resources.
Exactly. So we're at the 7:30 mark, and I want to thank you. I definitely want to do an Instagram with you, because I'm telling you, you are just, oh my God, I feel like I want to run 50 laps right now getting off with you. I'm like, oh my God.
Well, you're inspiring just the way that you talk and the way that you, again, support women. I love your ideas. I love your enthusiasm, your passion. It's infective, if you will, so don't ever lose that. Keep that going, because that's what's going to, I guess, inspire other women. I mean, because when you have that kind of passion like you do, it gets you excited about what's next in life. What else can I do?
And I agree with you. And for me, I just make sure that I don't burn my candle at both ends. I too meditate, relax, stay away from negativity, because as I say all the time, I'm allergic to it because I break out in hives. So I can't hang around someone who's negative. I rather positive Polly than, than negative Nelly.
Or negative Nancy. The toxicity is palpable, and you are absolutely right. Try to rid yourself of negativity and meditation, but yoga works just as well. And oh, that stretch is lovely, especially in the morning.
Well, I believe you. And it's taken a while because I'm a type A person. My mind never shuts down. So just doing the meditation will shut my mind down and relaxing. Because when I was doing the yoga poses, I was like, oh my God, I forgot to do this. I forgot to do that. That's why I love the library, because there's no talking. You can't talk in the library. Well, you're not supposed to talk in the library. I'm in the private rooms with 15 books. I mean, my husband goes crazy every night because I have 10 books on the bed. And I'm like, I'm reading them all. Okay. I just love to read. I love to learn. I'm a student for life. Okay. I'm a student in life as well. But you are I can't get enough of you, Dr. Alison Keefe. I cannot get enough of you.
You flatter me way too much.
No, it's the truth, because trust and believe, we get good people on the show. Because I'm telling you, I wanted to give you your roses because I have, stalked you, and then you were on that mentoring. I'm like, oh my God. So yeah, we're gonna have to get you on Instagram where there's not going to be anything on the issues with because Instagram is much better as well when it comes to the Wi-Fi, and even on your end, it would be great. So I'm going to give you a couple of months to rest, and then I'm going to hit you back up and say, hey, let's schedule you for our Instagram just to talk about what we talked about today.
I am more.
You have been a pleasure, and I want you to make sure, like everyone else, make sure if you're vaccinated, still make sure you're washing your hands, you're sanitizing, you're social distancing in some places you can. If it's bigger, just enjoy life. I mean, we're alive. We're alive. We're amongst the living. Live your life. There isn't anything you cannot do. Go out and do it. Find your tribe. If you're looking for a cheerleader, you can't find a cheerleader, you can call me because I'm going to cheer you on.
Good.
So I want to thank you again. You're probably out there in the hot sun. Thank you for being just the person that you are. Just know people are watching. We're impressed by you. If you're having bad days, just know that there are people pulling for you, because there's days sometimes it's a struggle, it's a whatever. Just know that we're pulling for you and we support you.
Agree.
So I want you to have a great week and have a safe Memorial Day.
And thank you, everybody, for watching. I appreciate you entertaining me because I had a great.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.